So this is what it's like? Being normal?
I think we've come pretty far, considering what we've been through. Oh no.
Look, I've done a lot of junkets over the years, a lot of big movies, and I've got to say, this has just about got to be the very first time I've done one of these without being able to screen the film.
I know. And thank you so much for your patience, because we are trying so hard to keep this under wraps. And I can't tell you how much I wish you had seen it, because I'm just so excited for everyone to see it. So it'll be very soon. I'm sorry it hasn't happened yet.
I'm like, I had to beg them to let me see it before I did press. And I was like, guys, I have to know what I did. But it's like they're super top secret. I know Scott, the game's creator, is so secretive and precious that he's like, I don't want anyone to see anything. So it's very, very secretive. Very secretive.
Does that make it difficult for you that press haven't seen the movie?
Yeah, it's hard not to be able to talk about things. I'm sure it's hard for you guys not to be able to formulate questions that are really specific to what you just watched. It's hard to keep this all under wraps, and especially since the fan base is so eager and enthusiastic about finding out, breadcrumbs. It's like it's really a full-time job, not letting anything get out there.
Like it's for me, I love when journalists see the movies, because then we can talk about the movie. So I can like, and also they're like, they sent me like a really hardcore list of things to not talk about, and I'm like, anything. So we're just like, okay, what color do you like? Yeah, no, it's no. Look, I think Freddy's, and I can tell you this. I think that one of the things that is so fascinating to me about the FNAF world and the fandom is the mystery. And it is the fact that the fans look for meaning inside of every little tiny detail and try to put this puzzle together and build this world out. And so I think that's something that they really took care of on the second movie, was finding those little threads that the hyper fans know about and giving answers to some of those questions while also posing new questions. And so because of that, they don't want anyone to see it yet. I don't know. That's what I got for you.
I guess what I can ask is what was it like for you to return to the world of Freddy?
It was so great. It was such an extension of the first movie. I was just saying that the first day on set really felt like our 50th day on set. We're just like right back where we picked up on the last movie, in terms of everyone having a unspoken language with each other. There was just a level of communication and knowledge of the world and the tone that we were, going for, and everything. But then we had so many more challenges on the sequel, in the best sense. We had more locations, bigger set pieces, over 3 times as many animatronics. So just the volume of what we were, working with in production grew. But I think the essence of the movie, of the first film, was still coming through really strongly, and that was something that was a priority.
Great. I love the Freddy's world. I think that it's so weird and scary and fun. It's a very like peculiar tone. And I think that like these movies have it walks that line between juvenile but scary but funny, but it's got like this weird nostalgic too sort of vibe going on. But I loved it. I think Mike's such a fascinating character. It's very dark. And working again with Emma Tammy, our director, with everyone at Blumhouse, with Scott, the cast, like it's cool to come back and see where these characters and this world's going to go.
Yeah, I'm such a huge fan of practical cinema, animatronics, practical effects. How's it been like for you to be able to not do one, but 2 of these back to back, when it's just so uncommon in today's climate in Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge privilege to be able to specifically work with Jim Henson's Creature Shop on making these animatronics and puppeteering them. It's not something you get to do every day, and it's not something I take for granted any day. It really feels like a joy, and it's a huge undertaking with some of the best, most talented people. So to be in it together, figuring it out is again just an enormous privilege. I think one of the exciting things about these films is that because of the era that we're really referencing, it felt so germane to be making them in a way that also felt true to those eras. In this one, our present day timeline is early 2000s, and our flashback timelines are early 80s. So, not only was I referencing movies from those time periods, but the way in which we approached the effects just felt in line with that and really organic and dynamic. That doesn't mean that we don't utilize very talented VFX people. We absolutely do. But everything we're doing is in service of feeling practical and complementing what we have done practically. So that was really the approach.
Yeah, what I really loved about the first one is that it has a really great human heart and a really great backbone, a great story behind all the explosions and killings and all that kind of stuff. Can we expect more of that this time around?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something I think a lot of bigger movies sometimes miss on. They sort of get distracted by the explosions and the action and all those things, or the scares, and they miss out on like what's the motor inside of this thing. And I think that's something that was very important for us to really understand and find. And this movie definitely has that, while also upping the stakes as any good sequel does. And it is much, much scarier than the first one, which I think is great. And that's something that, for me, like, I thought the first movie was great and so fun and so good. I didn't think it was that scary. And so I was happy to see that in the second movie, like, it read scary as the script. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, all right, this is, they heard, they got the note. they went for it. Yeah.
Well, I was actually going to ask, how do you make a movie like this, or work together as a team to make a movie like this so genuinely frightening? I mean, I feel like it would be so easy to make something like this a comedy or a spoof, or
there's, you want to let elements of humor come through and breathe, absolutely. But when it comes down to creating the environment where you just want to feel like anything could be jumping out of a shadowy corner at any moment, or you really want to land a jump scare, you got to be able to switch gears to really to go dark and terrifying. So it is walking a line for sure. And I think for us, not going full camp helped be able to navigate the different tonal moments we were bouncing back and forth between.
It's tricky because, like, as an actor, sometimes you're standing there and you're like, this is an animatronic, like teddy bear. Like, this is ridiculous, But I think that, kind of like what I was saying, like grounding it in like a real human drama, I think is what helps for me, and I think that the bond that Mike has with Abby, in the second film, we really understand that Mike now sees that he needs to take care of what's right in front of him and not be tormenting himself with the past. And so I think for me, it's just commitment to what their reality is. And, in these moments when Mike is trying to save Abby or find out how to help the situation, the stakes are real for him, and so as an actor, you just commit to that and ignore the fact that there's a guy in a suit that's an animatronic.